the story of Narcissus has a cool ending where the guy says at the very end, but maybe people always look at Narcissist and think, well, he's so obsessed with himself, and that's disgusting, and it's you shouldn't aspire to that. And maybe actually you reading the story, looking at the guy, wanting him to be more like you and not look at himself is actually the narcissist.
Well, yes, the superiority that you get in condemning. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like an interesting, like I just read that, I was like, what a sick motherfucker staring at himself all day. I was like, oh, geez, no, he's not like me, and I have a problem with that. Like, why do I care?
Yeah. Narcissism is a trap in that I do think it's like a very widely held, you can call it disorder, but it's so functional in today's society that it's like, I think it occurs on a spectrum, and I think most people have a fair amount of it.
As a tool that works well. Is that what you're saying?
As a way of functioning in the world, you can call it a tool that works well, but yeah, I believe that most people struggle to view, so I'll come back to Jacob Rowling, I guess, but with narcissists, there's differences in how people define narcissism based on their understanding of the world, whether they're talking about the Greek myth narcissist, the psychological disorder, or just like a general type of person.
My favorite is when someone goes, oh, they're a narcissist and they're psycho. That's my favorite.
Yes. So I think that one is, people talk about that, like most people mean very self-obsessed and vain in terms of their physical looks or accomplishments, that they are self-aggrandizing in an obvious way. When I say narcissism, I generally am referring to a much more subtle inability to interact with others without reference to yourself. So this is, I've only gotten out of this, like, it's kind of like fish in water. I'd say I have like probably a handful of minutes or hours over the course of my entire life where I've gotten out of this space long enough to go, holy shit.
That was extremely narcissist, what I just did.
I was, and everyone is. Like, it's so common. But I'll give you an example, like between you and I, if you shared a problem in your life with me, I would get angry. I'd be like, this is fucking insane. Not at you. I'd get angry at the person or the thing. That was a narcissistic response because I was unable to allow your problem to exist in you as a thing that you had, to be with you without taking it on, making it about me, letting it trigger something inside of my shit that needed to go out and defend and protect you.
Oh, yeah. And then the words you would say would be things that were supposed to be helpful to me, but they were really,
and I would give you advice that was referential to me and my rage at this, so that really the problem that I was solving was not your problem. It was the problem of the rage that I felt at your being taken advantage of or whatever, which was a me thing, because you weren't experiencing rage. You were experiencing sadness. And I've been able to increasingly step back from those situations and feel that self-referential part come up in me and sink in and be like, I can be with me and create a little container around my experience and clear that out, which allows the other person to have an experience that can be subtly or dramatically different from the one that I would impose upon them if I were to intervene in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just I feel they're stretching the term narcissism.
That's just how I use it.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
I guess, sure, I understand. If you want to just mean like people who are generally active on Instagram and are incapable of forming relationships with other people and abuse them in obvious ways, what I notice is that leads to, that thing that I described, leads to all of the same outcomes, but as a lesser degree. Like, I am still subtly abusive in our relationship, in that in making it about me, I stand in the way of you getting the healing that you need. It I do think is of a lower quantity, but of the same quality as the other kind of narcissism, which is so much more overt and obvious. But I really do think they're the same quality, which is I cannot help but structurally in my consciousness get emotionally involved and make things about myself. It is the way through which I view the world, and I cannot conceive of a different way of doing it.
That makes me confused because I had, while working at the nightclub, a lot of the women there would talk about their days and then would each just state what they did each day, but seemed to have very great bonding and like very closeness I guess on the surface level, they'd be like, oh my God, my day was so hard today. I got stuck in traffic. The other girl would be like, that reminds me, my dog, had a stomach ache and threw up all over the house. And then she'd say, and my boyfriend's bothering me. Another girl would go, and then the dog just kept throwing up. I had to vacuum it and then threw up again. And there seemed to be no like connecting.
Yeah.
But
just people triggering them to talk about a thing that reminds them of in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think that there can be such a thing as a non-narcissistic interjection in an interaction like that. And what I've found personally is when I'm feeling through these things is that there's this surface level of like, oh, I want to chime in. Oh, I want to share or say something. And then deeper is a more deep knowing of like, is my sharing a gift of connection to this person, or is it a taking of the reins? And you can trick yourself about this. And I think when I'm really paying close attention, I need a lot of like fucking space and brain power to do this, and heart power. I can start to tell the difference now, and I can hold back, bite my tongue, and then other times I go, oh no, this is for the other person. This thing that I'm saying, this is not just to redirect towards me. And I could be talking about myself. I could be like, that does remind me of me, but it is a gift of connection as opposed to you come to me, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It makes perfect sense. Reframes what I experienced too, because it's possible that both are true. That these two girls that I watched interact were sharing in the pain of struggle and I doubt frustration. And you said it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's not what was happening.
Okay. Totally agree.
I went to the nightclub too.
Yeah,
I know what was going on.
They just talk passing, two ships passing in the night, just fucking jabbering.
I've done the same thing.
Yeah.
You laugh at me with my girlfriend and I talk. We just fucking two separate conversations with who will be stronger to make
control
the
the
other
frame.
One, come to them.